Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Okay, so today's episode is going to be a day in the life of a medical coder. Now, I have to preface this video because it was brought to my attention that the last few, videos where I talk about a day in the life of a medical coder was not to this viewer a day in the life of a medical coder because she thought it was just previous stories that I had from other videos. Here's the thing. When I say this is a day in the life of a medical coder, I am a medical coder. This is what a day in the life of me looks like. So that's why I say a day in the life of a medical coder. Now, do I leave off the little details like the emails and the phone calls? Yes, I do. Because of the simple fact that I felt that talking about the little details like that was very mundane. That you all wouldn't want to know about those little details, phone calls, emails, because this is a part of working in an office. That's a guarantee. Anytime you work in any kind of office, there is going to be phone calls. There is going to be emails. I can't really put you guys in front of my computer, obviously for obvious reasons. Privacy, number one. I would love to, but I can't. So my day varies from day to day, okay? But this is what a typical day looks like. I will share with you what a typical day looks like, and hopefully I am giving you a lot more detail that you guys might want because I think I don't know how much more detail other than just a little thing. So I'm gonna try, okay? I'm gonna try. So here we go. My day starts at 6 o'clock in the morning. I literally get to work, start work at 6 a.m. My shift is from 6 to 2:30, Monday through Friday, okay? Now, I will say this before I get into the rest of this. My schedule, what I do during the day may not be typical for all places, but I'm just letting you guys know that this is what is typical for me, okay? And if you're looking at this video and you haven't been a medical coder yet and you want to know kind of what to expect, this is something that you can expect. However, you can't always, you're not going to be able to know what you're in for until you get into your position, no matter where you are. And only because different places have different needs and they're going to need their coder to do different things, okay? So this is my take on my day. This is what I go through on a daily basis. Okay, so I get to work at 6. Actually, if you want to know, I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I toss and turn for about 30 minutes. And then I get up at 5 o'clock and I get ready for work. I get dressed, leave the house about 5:30, and then I'm taking off. And then I get to work. I send my boss an email first thing as soon as I get in to let her know that I'm there. And it's not clocking in technically, but it is just letting her know that I am there and I am ready to work. The only reason that they have us do that is because we work in separate areas of the building, and just so that she can have accountability of who all is there. That's the only reason why we do it. So then after I send her the email, and that's 6 o'clock, I will start running reports. And when I say I run reports, I will open up the 2 systems that I use. So I use one system for the record. One system holds the electronic medical record, and I will log in to that system. And then I open up another system that houses the encoder software, and it also houses the queues that I work in. And a queue is basically just a flow of encounters. It's got all of the patient name and the provider name and the data service, and it's in these different queues that I work out of. So I sort these queues by date of service and provider. It doesn't matter to me the order of the patient. All I need to know is the date of service and the provider. So I will sort those queues. I will log into the EHR, the electronic health record, and I will start to run my reports in the electronic health record. Now, these reports that I run is basically from the last business day. So on Monday, when I go into work, I will be running that report for all of my clinics, which is orthopedics and podiatry. Okay. I will run all of the encounters for all of the providers, however many providers I have a total of 20. So all of the encounters that they had for between Friday and Sunday is what I run for Monday's report. Okay. This will tell me if any of the providers happen to have encounters over the weekend, because sometimes they'll see traumas or they'll see consults during the weekend. It just depends. And so if they do, it'll be captured on this report. So once I run that report and all of the encounters populate and it tells me who had what, okay, I sort by check-in time and I sort by provider. So that way it'll go in order, okay? For first appointment of the day, second, third, fourth, however. And then it'll be sorted by provider, and the providers will be sorted in alphabetical order. It doesn't matter to me if it's mixed in with orthopedics and podiatry. It's of no consequence to me which one is first. So once I run these reports, I will go and print them off on the printer. And I will go, and I don't have a printer in my office, so I have to use the community printer, which is nice because it's 6 o'clock in the morning, or at least by 6:15, there's nobody at the printer. So I will go pick up my reports, and I will come back to my desk, staple them together, and just sort of get ready and count them up. I will count up the encounters, and that will tell me how many I got in, okay? So I will manually count. We do have a report that we can run. I don't like to run this report, though, because that report has been notorious for being incorrect when it comes to the total number of encounters that you got that day. And so I will manually count how many encounters I have. And that's just me, okay? So once that's all done and ready, I will open up any emails that had come in over the weekend or the day before. And sometimes I will get emails. It just depends on what's going on. Rarely will I get an email from one of my providers. Usually if I do get an email, it's just to clarify something or because they are telling me that they had completed a query that I sent them. That's the only time I'm really getting emails over the weekend, when it's a Friday to a Sunday. That's the only time I get emails. So that's it on that one. And then if you've seen in my Instagram photos, I have a candy basket. And next to this candy basket, I have some water bottles and things like that. I will set that up, and I will make sure that that is completely full of snacks and candies and anything else that I brought in. And I do this as a courtesy for my providers. Sometimes my providers are so busy taking care of other people, and they take care of their patients. They take care of everybody else but themselves. They forget to eat. They don't take care to nourish themselves. So I have always made this a priority. I have always made this known that I have this, because they need to know that somebody actually does care about them. And you hear a lot of complaints, especially in the healthcare industry, about, everybody's just sort of a slave and they're just sort of working and doing all of these things and no one really cares. I always try to make sure that I do my very best to show that I do care. I don't ask anybody for anything. They don't pay for this stuff. I don't ask them for anything. I literally just have it there. If they want something, candy or water or whatever, fine, take it. I don't care. If you want to sit and have a moment and just breathe for a little bit, it's fine. I always make sure that my office is very welcoming and warm, because of the simple fact that I want them to associate me with relaxation, and not just another person that's going to jump down their throat because they didn't do this right, or they didn't do that right, or they suck, or, you know, whatever. And this is why I say a lot of times too, and some coders will do this, and I've seen this in the past, where they will make the provider feel bad about themselves. And I'm not all about, you know, being a butt kisser or anything like that with my providers, because I do tell them when they are messing up, but I have a way of telling them, because I have trained myself to learn how to effectively communicate with these alpha personalities. And that's something that it does happen in these environments when you're working with these alpha personalities. Sometimes coders get an inflated sense of an ego, and they take it out on their providers, and their providers, you know, it makes them feel bad. So I refuse to do that. We are a team. We are a team. They don't need to learn lessons from me. That's why I always tell, because you hear sometimes coders say, I'm going to teach him a lesson. They don't need to learn anything from you. You need to be their partner. That's what they need, because they're highly educated. And yes, while some of them are extremely arrogant, that is something that you will have to learn to work with. Okay? And the reason that we're able to work with them is because we work to improve ourselves. And that is something that is very important. If you are brand new, you've never been a medical coder before, and you want to know, being a whole package medical coder is not just knowing how to navigate your book. It's not just knowing how to apply codes. It's also learning how to effectively communicate with alpha personalities. Now, before you say, oh, I don't want to do that, it is part of it. That is, you're going to want to do that. If you are really invested in becoming a medical coder, you are going to want to communicate with your providers, because you're not going to want somebody else to educate them. How somebody else is going to look at something is completely different, maybe, from how you are going to be looking at something. Whatever it is, a case scenario or whatever. Now, not everybody is going to see things the same way, but you, at the end of the day, are responsible for their coding welfare. This is what I always tell them all the time. I'm responsible for your coding welfare. We are supposed to work together as a team, and that's what we're going to do. So, it's a lot, yes, but it's just part of it, okay? And like I said, my methods are unconventional, but they work. And they work, and it's proven time and time and time again. So when I share these things with you, it's not to overwhelm you, it's not to scare you or terrify you, God forbid. I'm not trying to terrify anybody. Why you would be terrified, I don't know. Because to me, it's exciting, and it's fun, and it's challenging. Yes, oh my gosh. Yes, it is challenging. It is one of those things that you're like, are you freaking kidding me? Some of these things that I see, I'm like, really? But it's all part of it. And I wouldn't trade that challenge for anything, because my job does not get boring. Okay? So, moving right along. After I make sure everything's all set up, I get to work, okay? And by this time it's about 6:30, and I start coding, and I start looking at I look in the queues, right, that have it'll tell me if there's an error, like an edit, okay? It'll tell me if there's an edit somewhere in this queue, because each line, there's the patient name, patient date of service, and then the provider, and then it will tell me in one column if there's edits or if it's passed. If it's passed, it means there's no conflicting codes. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily coded correctly. It just means that there's no conflicting codes, or there's no quantities that are selected or whatever. So when I do see edits, I will scan all of my providers and see who has the most edits. If there's somebody with the most edits, then I will go and look at those encounters and start working. That's where I start working at. And I will take, whoever has the most, and I will start with them. I do work on one provider at a time. I don't, jump from provider to provider. because if you're going in the list that way, it's not efficient. Okay, so to me, I work on one provider at a time. I complete whatever I need to complete as far as getting those encounters with edits out quicker. I will do that. I will start there. And then usually by 7:30 or so, I'm getting knocks at the door. Sometimes I'll have the door open. Somebody will come in with a question or whatever. Sometimes it's a coworker. And I will just answer whatever, because I will have people that come by with, their records or whatever. And of course, it's blacked out. We do honor the, privacy of every encounter that we have. Or if they have a question, they'll just come over. By 8 o'clock, I am going down to the cafeteria to go get a cup of coffee, because by this time I need coffee. And I will go get my coffee. And somebody asked me, how do I deal with difficult coworkers? Because I thankfully have my own office, I do sometimes have to run into these people, some of my coworkers, when I'm in the hallway. And it's not always a pleasant experience. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. It's not always pleasant. And there are some mean girls. I mean, and they walk together in little packs and things like that. And there's two that happen to walk together. And for some reason, I try to change up the times that I go to get coffee, because I don't care to see people that have negative attitudes or who are just generally sour. Okay, I just like to avoid all of that drama, because I don't need it. Okay, but to answer this question from one of the viewers, how do I deal with difficult coworkers? When I do see these two women walking together in a pack, and they just sort of do this, yeah, I go through that. And so they do that, and they see me, and they start giggling. Okay, whatever. But this is when how you respond to this makes a difference. Before, would this have bothered me? Sure, because at one time, one of these ladies and I were very good friends. We are not friends anymore. But anytime she does need help, or she reaches out for help because she needs help with orthopedics or something, because she goes for another side of the house, but she does occasionally have to do some orthopedic coding. And anytime that she does ask and reach out for help, I immediately help her right away, because that's the way I am. I mean, I don't hold things against people when it comes to coding. All of that goes away, and I just code. Okay. So when I see them do this, it doesn't bother me anymore, because the thing is, I know my purpose. I know why I'm there. The Arbinger Institute really did help me with that. I went through their training program, and it really did help me to reframe my thinking when it comes to coworkers who do petty things like this. And you will have some coworkers that are petty, okay? I'm just going to be honest with you, okay? And the only reason that you have this is because people get jealous for little stupid things. And it could be anything. And they will get jealous, and they will treat you badly. They will try to make you look bad. If you are better at coding than they are, then that's also another reason that they could be giving you a hard time. You have a fancier car, or you have a good-looking husband, or you have a beautiful house. You know what I mean? It could be any number of things. People will find a reason not to like you. There's a lot of people that don't like me. And the reason is because they see that I have a really good work ethic. I dress very well. You know what I mean? I am nice. People do like me. My providers like me. That's where my focus is. And so once I started to reframe my focus of, they don't like me, I wonder why, into, okay, they don't like me, whatever. I mean, there's really nothing I can do, but I'm not one of those ones that say, oh, hey, ladies, how you doing? No, I'm not going to do that. But I'm not going to be overtly rude either, because they don't deserve my attention. So that's how I deal with that. I will do a whole separate one because I got a couple more stories about coworkers and that I think would be interesting and good to share. But how you look at them, the way that you should deal with it is, are they important and relevant in your life? Is their opinion of you relevant? And to me, when I see these two ladies in particular, do I think their opinion of me is relevant? No. No, it isn't, because I know that I am a good person. I know that if they needed help, I would help them right away. They wouldn't do the same thing for me. So it makes me feel better because I know that I am in control of my reaction and my response to them, which is, okay, if you're going to be immature, that's up to you. But, you know, but I will continue to do the same thing that I always do. If they need help, if they reach out for help, I'm not going to treat them any differently. I'll just help them, you know. Am I going to go out of my way to say, oh, hey, let's be friends? No, because they've clearly made their choice. So, and sometimes that's just something that is going to happen. Hopefully it doesn't happen too much with you. If you're out there and you're wondering, don't get scared right away, okay, either, because it's something that happens with some people and some people it doesn't. Like I said, and I've said this before, my attitude is, you know, lead, move, or get the heck out of my way. You know, that's the way I am. I'm built that way. And so I have a very good work ethic. And because of that, I'm always going to have this issue. There's really nothing I can do. My whole goal and my focus is my people, my providers. That's my focus. So, but yes, going to go get coffee, coming back, and continuing to work, answering emails as they come in, mostly from my supervisor. I will get emails during the week, mostly from her, and it'll be either she needs me to fix something, or, you know, if there's a query or whatever. Sometimes she comes out with some queries herself, and she'll ask me, because if she's doing an audit, she'll ask me to look at it too and see what I think or whatever. Excuse me. So, but yeah. And then about 11 o'clock, between 11 and 1 o'clock, I can go to lunch at any time during that time. So it depends if I'm really stuck in a record. If I continue to work past 11, I try not to go at 11:30 because the cafeteria is just really packed by then. So I try to like make it in between 11 and 11:30, and I'll just go over and literally go to the cafeteria, pick up my lunch, and make a beeline back to my office. I don't have lunch in the cafeteria like I did before, because again, it's too many people. And then, of course, you have these tables, and some of them are your coworkers, and you get the mean girl vibe. So it's just like, no, I would rather enjoy my lunch and go sit in my office, and I'll just go in my office and have lunch, and then spend 30 minutes eating lunch or whatever. Well, usually by the time I get back to my office, I got maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and I just eat, and then, you know, throw away the container or whatever, and then come back and start working again. I don't have to clock back in or anything. It's just, you know, because we're still there, you know. The only time I send an email that I'm leaving is if I leave campus, okay? I don't have to send an email at the end of the day, which is good because it's not clocking out or anything like that. It's just I have to send my workload report at the end of the day. But so I go and I continue to work, and then I will work until 2:30. And I mean, if I get any calls, I get any calls. I have a direct office line in my office. But like I said, the only time I get really any kind of calls is if it's from my boss or if it's from other coworkers with a question or whatever. So I will answer anything else, you know. So, you know, and then I will work until 2:30, and then I will calculate how many encounters I coded that day, and go into my workload report, and it has different columns. How many encounters I received, was there any downtime for like education, or if there was any computer issues, and how many encounters I completed. And it's auto calculated, so it'll tell you if it's red or green or purple. The red is if you did not make quota that day, and the green is if you did good, and then the purple is that you did excellent. So I always strive for green or purple. Sometimes if I hit red, it's fine, because I can just make it up the next day. So it's just an average. It's a rolling average. There's going to be days when you're not going to meet your quota. And my quota happens to be 90 per day because I'm in a specialty clinic. So it's a lot lower than some of the other clinics, because the other clinics are just very straightforward, very easy clinics to code. So yeah, so that's it. And then I just gather up my stuff and put all of the candy away, because I've actually had the housekeepers come in and take my candy. So they cleaned me out last time, and whoa, you want to know how loud I yelled? I yelled very loudly. And I'm not one to blame housekeeping ever, but this was because other housekeepers told me that it was them that took it, and there's nobody else who has access to my office but me. I'm the only one with a key. And so when I went in and I found it, it was the other housekeepers that said it was these other housekeepers that did it. So I did file a complaint. They are not allowed to come in my office anymore, so unless I am there. So but I still put the candy away as a means of just me, just putting it away. I wouldn't have minded if they would have taken like maybe 1 or 2 pieces. That would have been fine. But they literally cleaned out the entire basket, and there was just like a few things left. And there was like, you could see the bottom. And that's one thing I pride myself on, is that you never see the bottom of the basket, but after they did that, I always make sure that I just lock it up and lock it away, and I leave my trash can outside the door so they can pick the trash up, and then I take off and I go home, and then I come here and I I eat when I get home, and then I get ready to film. So that's my day. So that's pretty much it, and I'm gonna close this up because I'm running out of time on my my camera. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this up, but I hope you've enjoyed today's episode, and I hope this answered your questions, and I'm gonna be doing more of these with more detail. So let me know what you guys think. Give my video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't like it, oh well, please let me know why. And so that way I can do something better, because it's all about communication. You got to learn to communicate if you're a medical coder. You have to communicate. If something is not clear or something can be better explained, let me know. Other than that, I don't know. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to go ahead and close this up. But if you are a medical coder, a medical coding student, somebody curious about the fascinating world of medical coding, a provider or a nurse, I invite you to like and subscribe and follow me on my journey in medical coding. I will see y'all next time. Bye!